How has democracy evolved in Africa from the days of colonial rule to the present day? Africa's political landscape has undergone a profound transformation over the past century. The continent's journey from colonial subjugation to independence and the establishment of democratic governance is a testament to the resilience and determination of its people. In this video, we will explore the key milestones, influential leaders, and pivotal moments that have shaped the democratization process across different African countries. During the late 19th and early 20th centuries, European powers colonized almost the entire African continent. This period of colonial rule was characterized by the exploitation of Africa's resources, the suppression of indigenous cultures, and the imposition of foreign governance structures. However, the seeds of resistance were sown early, with various nationalist movements emerging to challenge colonial domination. One of the earliest and most significant milestones in Africa's path to democracy was the independence of Ghana in 1957. Led by Kwame Nkrumah, Ghana's peaceful transition from British colonial rule inspired other African nations to seek their own independence. Nkrumah's vision of Pan-Africanism and his call for continental unity resonated widely, galvanizing anti-colonial movements across Africa. The 1950s and 1960s witnessed a wave of independence movements sweeping across Africa. Countries like Nigeria, Kenya, Tanzania, and Zambia gained independence from their colonial rulers, often through a mix of negotiation and armed struggle. These newly independent nations faced the daunting task of building governance structures from scratch. In Nigeria, for example, the transition from British rule to independence in 1960 was marked by the establishment of a federal system of government designed to accommodate the country's diverse ethnic groups. However, the challenges of nation-building soon became apparent, leading to political instability and civil war in the late 1960s. The post-independence period saw many African nations grappling with political instability, economic challenges, and ethnic tensions. In response, several countries adopted one-party systems or experienced military coups. Leaders like Julius Nyerere of Tanzania and Jomo Kenyatta of Kenya established single-party states, arguing that this approach would foster national unity and development. However, these systems often led to authoritarian rule and stifled political dissent. Military regimes also became common, as seen in countries like Uganda under Idi Amin and Nigeria during its numerous coups. These regimes typically justified their actions by claiming to restore order and combat corruption, but they often resulted in further human rights abuses and economic decline. The late 20th century brought a renewed push for democratization, influenced by global political changes and internal pressures. The end of the Cold War, the decline of apartheid in South Africa, and the failure of many authoritarian regimes to deliver on economic promises contributed to a wave of democratic reforms across Africa. South Africa's transition from apartheid to democracy in 1994 stands out as a pivotal moment. Nelson Mandela's release from prison and subsequent election as the country's first black president symbolized a new era of hope and reconciliation. The successful implementation of a multiracial democratic system in South Africa served as a model for other African nations. Nelson Mandela's leadership was instrumental in South Africa's transition to democracy. His commitment to peace, reconciliation, and social justice earned him global recognition and admiration. Mandela's ability to negotiate with the apartheid regime and unite a deeply divided nation remains one of the most significant achievements in African political history. Julius Nyerere, known as the Father of the Nation in Tanzania, played a crucial role in shaping the country's political landscape. Although he initially embraced a one-party state, Nyerere's leadership was marked by a strong emphasis on education, social equality, and rural development. His eventual support for multi-party democracy in the early 1990s reflected his enduring commitment to the well-being of his people. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf made history as Africa's first elected female head of state in 2006. Her presidency in Liberia, following years of civil war, was marked by efforts to rebuild the nation's institutions, combat corruption, and promote women's rights. Sirleaf's leadership highlighted the importance of inclusive governance and the potential for female leaders to drive positive change. The Arab Spring, a series of pro-democracy uprisings that swept across North Africa and the Middle East, had a profound impact on countries like Tunisia, Egypt, and Libya. In Tunisia, the successful overthrow of President Zine El Abidine Ben Ali in 2011 led to the establishment of a democratic constitution and multi-party elections, setting an example for other nations in the region. Ghana's reputation as a stable democracy in West Africa was reinforced by its peaceful transitions of power. The country's 2000 presidential election, which saw the peaceful transfer of power from Jerry Rawlings to John Kufuor, marked a significant milestone. Ghana's commitment to democratic principles has continued to serve as a beacon of hope for the region. Nigeria's 2015 presidential election was a landmark event, as it marked the first time an incumbent president, Goodluck Jonathan, peacefully conceded defeat to an opposition candidate, Muhammadu Buhari. This peaceful transition underscored Nigeria's progress toward democratic consolidation and set a positive precedent for other African nations. The evolution of democracy in Africa is a complex and multifaceted journey, shaped by historical legacies, influential leaders, and pivotal moments. From the struggle for independence to the challenges of nation-building and the recent wave of democratic reforms, African nations have made significant strides in establishing democratic governance. While the road has not been without obstacles, the resilience and determination of the African people continue to drive the continent toward a more democratic future. As Africa moves forward, the lessons learned from its past will undoubtedly play a crucial role in shaping its political destiny. Now, before we continue, if you're finding this exploration of Africa's democratic journey insightful, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring more in-depth content to you. Share your thoughts and let us know which African leader or milestone you find most inspiring. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Returning to our discussion, let's delve deeper into some of the lesser-known yet equally significant events and figures that have shaped African democracy. For instance, the role of civil society and grassroots movements cannot be understated. In many countries, ordinary citizens have played pivotal roles in demanding democratic reforms and holding governments accountable. In Kenya, the 2002 election marked the end of Daniel Arap Moi's 24-year rule and the beginning of a new era. The National Rainbow Coalition, NARC, led by Mwai Kibaki, won the election on a platform of anti-corruption and economic reform. This victory was not just a win for a political party, but a triumph for civil society organizations and citizens who had long campaigned for change. Another compelling example is Burkina Faso's 2014 uprising, which led to the ousting of President Blaise Compaoré after 27 years in power. The movement was driven by a coalition of civil society groups, opposition parties, and everyday citizens who took to the streets to demand change. This event underscored the power of collective action and the growing role of youth in African politics. Let's take a moment to highlight the importance of media and technology in modern African democracies. The advent of social media platforms has revolutionized political participation and mobilization. In countries like Nigeria, Egypt, and Zimbabwe, social media has been used to organize protests, share information, and hold leaders accountable. The hashtag movements like #EndSARS in Nigeria and #ThisFlag in Zimbabwe have demonstrated the power of digital activism in shaping political discourse. As we reflect on these developments, it's crucial to consider the future of democracy in Africa. The continent faces numerous challenges, including economic inequality, corruption, and ethnic tensions. However, there are also significant opportunities. The African Union's Agenda 2063 envisions a continent that is integrated, prosperous, and peaceful, driven by its own citizens and representing a dynamic force in the international arena. The role of women in African politics is another area that holds great promise. Increasingly, women are breaking barriers and taking on leadership roles. In Rwanda, for example, women hold more than 60% of parliamentary seats, the highest proportion in the world. This remarkable achievement is a result of deliberate policies and constitutional mandates aimed at promoting gender equality. Rwanda's success story offers valuable lessons for other African nations striving to enhance women's participation in politics. Now let's take a quick break to remind you to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Your engagement helps us continue to bring you comprehensive and engaging content. Share your thoughts on how you see the future of democracy in Africa and what changes you believe are necessary for further progress. Returning to our journey, the role of regional organizations in promoting democracy cannot be overlooked. The African Union, AU, and regional bodies like the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, have played critical roles in mediating conflicts and supporting democratic transitions. For instance, ECOWAS's intervention in the Gambia's 2016-2017 political crisis was pivotal in ensuring a peaceful transfer of power from Yahya Jammeh to Adama Barrow. demonstrating the importance of regional solidarity and collective action. Moreover, the African Charter on Democracy, Elections, and Governance, adopted by the AU in 2007, provides a framework for promoting democratic principles, human rights, and good governance across the continent. Although its implementation has been uneven, it represents a significant step towards institutionalizing democracy in Africa. Education and youth empowerment are also key to the future of democracy in Africa. With a rapidly growing young population, the continent has a unique opportunity to harness the energy, creativity, and aspirations of its youth. Programs that focus on civic education, leadership development, and entrepreneurship can equip young Africans with the skills and knowledge needed to participate actively in democratic processes and contribute to their community's development. As we draw to a close, it's essential to recognize that the evolution of democracy in Africa is an ongoing process. It requires continuous effort, vigilance, and commitment from all sectors of society, including governments, civil society, the private sector, and international partners. The resilience and determination of the African people have brought the continent this far, and these same qualities will drive future progress. In conclusion, the journey of African nations from colonial rule to democratic governance is a story of resilience, courage, and hope. From the early independence movements to the modern-day push for transparency and accountability, Africa's democratic evolution is marked by significant milestones and influential leaders. While challenges remain, the continent's continued commitment to democratic principles and the active participation of its citizens hold the promise of a brighter future. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of African democracy. If you found this discussion enlightening, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Share your insights and let us know which aspects of Africa's democratic journey resonate most with you. Stay tuned for more in-depth analyses and stories that shape our understanding of the world. Together, let's continue to learn, engage, and make a difference.